Meanwhile, somewhere on a cruise ship near Italy, this is going on. Cruise news time. We got a wild show for you today, including a guest appearance by our friend Doug Parker from Cruise Radio. And we've got some wild complaints coming out from Royal Caribbean passengers. While the fires are still smoldering in Hawaii, there are people complaining about their port stop to Hawaii, to that spot, being canceled. Do they have a leg to stand on, or is Royal doing something wrong? Interesting conversation. Cruise news and my views. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Lido, Loca. I am your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news and views for your face. And I'm sure some of you out there are rejoicing that you got the full version of the original Lido Loca theme song right there at the beginning. And there might be some out there that are sad that they didn't hear cruise news. Well, have no fear, faithful. I've compromised. Somebody had a great idea in the comments yesterday to do the full Lido Loca theme in the beginning and then do the cruise news outro at the end. So bingo, bango. You get the best of both worlds. Now we got to get into this cruise news. We got to hear from Doug Parker over there in Italy. But first, I do need to take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's show, Babbel. Today's episode is sponsored by Babbel. Babbel is one of the top language learning apps in the world, using intuitive lessons to teach you a new language through conversation. And now I've been on this Babbel journey for a while, and while I've dabbled in several different languages, I think the most language that I've learned is French. So I thought I would hit you with a little bit of a French conversation. So just imagine me in Paris walking down the Champs-Élysées, and well, nature calls. I think the conversation would go something like this. Bonjour, madame, parlez-vous anglais? Non? Ok. Je m'appelle Antoine. Et toi? Geneviève? Enchanté. Ça va bien? Non, comme ci, comme ça. Pourquoi? Où sont les toilettes, s'il vous plaît? Merci beaucoup. I know, it's just like being in Paris, n'est-ce pas? It's so simple. The app just speaks the words and phrases to you. You learn how to say them. Merci beaucoup. And of course, Babbel always has a great deal for the Loca fam. Click the link in the description below, or you can scan this QR code to receive 60% off your subscription. A huge merci beaucoup to Babbel for sponsoring today's episode. All right, let's take a quick virtual journey to the Mediterranean and hear from our friend Doug Parker, who is on NCL's newest cruise ship, the NCL Viva. The NCL Viva entered service just a few days ago, doing a cruise from Italy to Lisbon with passengers on board, and Doug was one of them. It's his first time on that class of ship on Norwegian, and so I peppered him with a couple questions. Take it away yesterday, Tony and Doug Parker. Well, I am joined by Doug Parker from what's really one of the world's newest cruise ships, the NCL Viva. Doug, you're somewhere near Sicily today, is that correct?
Yeah, we're in Salerno, Italy, and we are, it's a beautiful day. It's hot as heck, but not a cloud in the sky, and the ship is beautiful. And I'm up here on the very top on the go-kart track. We have about 30 minutes till they open, so it's nice and quiet up here for the next few minutes.
Oh, nice. Have you sampled the go-kart track yet? Have you taken a few laps?
Did it once. $15 for like 3 laps. I think it was 3 or 5 laps, but it's a three deck course here. So I think Prima might have the same one. I didn't sail Prima. But the other ones are only 2 decks, and it's pretty fun. It's long. It's what is it? The Indy 500 where they're turning and all this. It's like, yeah, a lot of this going on. Yeah, it's really fun.
Ah, nice. So you've been on Viva for a few days now. Do you know what capacity the ship is sailing at?
Yeah, they told us it's at capacity. Now, what that means is probably a very loose interpretation, because I know there are some vacant rooms open just in case they have, startup issues. But they said it was sailing at about capacity is what they told us in the Q&A yesterday morning. And I got to say, man, I don't know if you've sailed Prima or not, because I never have, but this ship, we've had one sea day, and I've been on, this is my 4th day on board. I haven't been to one spot yet that feels crowded. It's crazy. Like, it's so amazing. I know this is like one of the highest space to guest ratios, or passenger to space ratio ships out here right now. Buffets, atrium, theater, slides, pool decks. There's just, it's wide open, but know that it's a different kind of crowd from Europe and the Caribbean too. So we have that factoring in.
Well, Doug, I appreciate you jumping in from out in the middle of the Med. So good to talk to you, and I'm glad you are enjoying the Viva.
Likewise, buddy. Take care.
Big thanks to Doug for taking time out of his schedule to chat with us. Make sure you keep up with Doug over at the Cruise Radio YouTube channel, and follow all the Cruise Radio stuff at the website cruiseradio.net. Now let's talk about what's happening in the wake of the wildfires in Maui in Hawaii. As reported a couple days ago, and as you've probably seen in many other places, there has been utter destruction, property damage, loss of life, disruption of life, and the cruise industry also being impacted by this devastation, as the Lahaina area plays a big role in cruise tourism. And so cruise ships that have scheduled stops in Maui are scrambling, trying to change itineraries. One of the ships forced to adjust their itinerary is Royal Caribbean's Ovation of the Seas, really a repositioning cruise after the Alaska season. This cruise is scheduled to start on October the 6th in Vancouver, British Columbia. Billed as a Hawaiian cruise, this itinerary did include an overnight stop in Lahaina before guests would disembark in Honolulu. On the heels of the destructive wildfire, guests that were booked on the sailing were notified by email that the Lahaina stop would be removed and replaced with additional stops further north in the Pacific, replaced with a stop in Victoria in British Columbia and a stop in Seattle, Washington. The itinerary was also modified to include a Hawaiian coast sailing. And well, as you can imagine, when a bucket list cruise removes the bucket list destination, there were people not too excited about it. And while they may have been understanding because of the fires in Hawaii, one thing they did not have was the option to cancel the cruise without penalty. And so if guests wanted to cancel this cruise, they would have incurred a 75% cruise penalty for this sailing. And like I said, when people got this news, they got hot about it, they got vocal about it, and I guess they were hot enough and vocal enough about it that Royal Caribbean changed their minds a little bit to accommodate these passengers, and they put out a further explanation as to why no alternate Hawaiian ports were picked up. First and foremost, they removed the cancellation fee on this cruise. So if anybody is booked on this cruise and they found their Hawaiian bucket list cruise altered in a way where they didn't want to do it anymore, they can now cancel for a full refund with no penalty. And then they went on to further explain why they did not go to an alternate port in Hawaii. It's really because of the size of the Ovation of the Seas. Royal said they only had 2 other options for port stops in Hawaii, and both of those were already booked up. It's really a tricky situation there in Hawaii. I know the cruise companies are focused on helping the recovery effort. Certainly the folks in that area, the tourism folks in that area that was devastated, they're working on getting people back to their homes, and then they'll work on rebuilding the tourism there. But at the same time, you have these multi-billion-dollar corporations trying to figure out how to continue to do business. I'll throw the question over to you. Are passengers who were upset about this itinerary change, were they justified in being upset, or was that just a little too insensitive based on what's going on in Hawaii? And secondly, shouldn't Royal just have let off with the you can cancel without penalty? Certainly they understand it's an extenuating circumstance, and so while they had to change the ports, that's understandable. Shouldn't they let people, you know, get a refund without penalty for not getting the cruise that they thought they were going to get? I don't know. I think people maybe were a little insensitive, but I think it could have been avoided if Royal would have given them a better option on the front end. Thanks so much for checking out the show today. I sure hope you enjoyed it. You can show your support for the show by hitting the like button. And unfortunately, if you don't hit the like button, I will be forced to punish you. And your punishment is this: on your very next cruise, on the very first day of your cruise, the AC will go out on the entire cruise ship, and you'll spend 5 hot days cruising. Too soon? Too soon? Yeah, hit the like button. This is Tony for Lido, Loca, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye. Cruise News.